What do you know about lupus disease? According to the Lupus Foundation of America, lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease that can damage any part of the body, whether it is the skin, joints, kidneys, blood cells, brain, heart, and lungs. Welcome to the MoFPS Coffee and Conversations, where we share the experiences of our public servants as they navigate a life of service. I am your host, Shaquille Rochester Shorter. Follow the ministry on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and now LinkedIn. Look for MOF Jamaica or the Ministry of Finance Jamaica. Today, we take several sips of coffee and have a conversation with Danielle Hall, Acting Human Resource Officer at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. She has been with the ministry for over 14 years, serving in various capacities despite being diagnosed with lupus in 2011. Danielle is here today to share her story as she faces the various challenges associated with this disease. Danielle, welcome.
Thank you.
Danielle, do you remember the day you were diagnosed with lupus?
I don't remember the exact day, but I know it was in October of 2011. After many tests and procedures to find out what was going on, I was diagnosed with meningitis from 2008, and I had several mishaps along the way and several misdiagnoses. So lupus was diagnosed, that's 3 years later, and I remember it being a very bittersweet moment. Bitter in the sense that this is a disease and I'd only heard about it from when I was a child. My friend's mom died from it. That was all I knew. And sweet in the sense that I felt like I'd finally come to an end, knowing what was going on. My family was at some ease to know that after so many tests, after being hospitalized so many times, there was finally a name attached to it.
And you can start treatment.
And I could start being treated properly.
Yes.
Properly.
What is a day in the life of Danielle since being diagnosed?
I like how you put it, Shaquille, Danielle, because lupus is a very unique disease. It is unique to everyone who has it. And so my journey is mostly about pain. As I'm seated here with you, I am in a lot of pain.
Wow. I couldn't tell.
I try not to let it show. But for me, it's mostly pain related. I have severe joint pains and muscle pains. So as you mentioned in your introduction, it is a disease that affects the joints as well. And so I am mostly affected in my joints and in my lungs. I am chronically asthmatic. And that was also developed since I was diagnosed with lupus.
What is that?
Being asthmatic at this old age of mine.
You said chronic asthmatic.
Okay, so meaning it's termed uncontrolled. So I am on several asthma pumps a day. So like 4 to 5 different asthma pumps to keep it controlled. I have several attacks per month. So between several, because it is aroused by several environmental factors.
Yes.
So it depends on where I am and what can affect me. So it's not just lupus. And I guess a little later on I'll share that it's not just lupus, as I mentioned.
Tell us now.
It's Sjogren syndrome, something that is very uncommon to most persons. Never heard the name before. So in 2015, I noticed I started having severe teeth pain or severe pain in the mouth.
Okay.
And I used to eat and I realized I could no longer eat without drinking. And so I went to see a doctor about it, and they did a biopsy on the inside of my lip. And it was then that I found out I was troubling with this condition called Sjogren syndrome. Now, Sjogren syndrome is an autoimmune disease like lupus. They belong to the same family. And it affects mostly the eyes and the mouth. So I don't produce the saliva that I need, and I don't produce the tears that I need.
Oh.
So my eyes are always dry. If you can recall, or if you've ever had pink eye before, and recall that grainy feeling.
I don't recall.
Okay, well, probably persons watching.
Yes.
That grainy feeling is what I feel most times in my eyes because there is no moisture. So there's artificial help to get that going for me. And where my saliva is concerned, liquid. Always.
Do you need to take a sip now?
Not right now. I'm doing well.
Okay, great.
Soon, probably. But I always need to have liquid, mostly water, because I just need my palate to feel moist again so that I can swallow when I'm eating or speak, as well as the issue that Sjogren's gives me is that it deteriorates my teeth severely because our stomach produces a lot of acid and our saliva pushes back the acid. So especially when we sleep at night, the acid leaves the stomach into the mouth. The saliva is supposed to push back.
Yes.
I don't have that saliva to do that job for me. And so the acid deteriorates the enamel of my teeth. And so I've gone through several extractions, several root canals, and this is a lifelong journey for me, as there has been no known cure as to or treatment as to what can be done for me to be relieved of this situation.
So based on all of this, you have to make changes in your life. Tell us about some of your lifestyle changes.
Well, it has taken a lot of adjustments, you're right. I have a lot of regimes, and though I've read and heard of do this, do that, I'm not necessarily the most cooperative where it comes to taking care of me. As it relates to lupus, it's about pain management. So over the years, I've done physiotherapy. I've been on a lot of medication. I'm not the most compliant either because at times I get frustrated. Sometimes in a day, I can go through 25 to 30 tablets. And after a while, after years, it becomes frustrating to the point that you don't want to take them, especially when I'm not seeing or feeling the results. So I try to do things that are not necessarily internal. So I adjust how I sleep or adjust how I am postured or, you know, things that I don't need to put into my body. I'm very free-spirited in the sense of diet. I know it is recommended that we have a gluten-free diet to avoid inflammation because inflammation is what causes the pain. And so I am not very good with my diet, but I encourage people.
And I'm going to encourage you to...
And I try to take my own advice at times that, you know, the diet itself will help with your journey with lupus. So my lifestyle changes haven't been that severe where my diet is concerned, but certainly my day-to-day activities, things that, I mean, I was diagnosed at a really early age, an age where I would just have been starting to know myself. And so I didn't have to adjust much because this is just in my 20s and, you know, there wasn't anything that I was doing that I had to stop doing. So lifestyle changes were just about finding myself with this disease.
Danielle, how has the ministry been helping you?
Okay, so being at the ministry for all this time, my entire working life actually, I have been supported mostly through the time that I'm given to attend to my appointments. Now between lupus, fibromyalgia, Sjogren's, asthma, I see several physicians and at different institutions. And so I am required to attend to a lot of medical appointments. So like rheumatology, I have to go every 3 months to see the ENT. I have to see a physiotherapist. I have to see an eye doctor. I have to go to a pulmonologist. So with all these medical appointments, these don't happen on Saturdays and Sundays. And it happens during work hours. And I am given that time off to attend to all my medical needs. Where physiotherapy is concerned, there were times when I'd have to be out of work for hours to attend to physiotherapy. There was even a time when I'd leave physiotherapy and it was required for me to sleep for an hour in the day because I get no rest at all.
And the ministry facilitated.
And the ministry facilitated that. So that's just one way, and I have very supportive colleagues. And it's not just by them being physically present, but a lot of motivation and a lot of encouragement. And the ministry has stood by me during this entire time. And we spend a lot of time at work. And so ministry for me is home away from home.
Wow.
And support is not just only in the sickness. I was able to finish my studies while working there. I was able to maneuver going through grief with the death of my mom with the support of the ministry. And I know in years to come, if this disease still plagues me, I will have the support of the ministry if I should remain there. And I really appreciate it.
That's awesome, Danielle. Thank you for sharing your story with us today. I am sure that by sharing your journey, many persons will be inspired to push forward despite their circumstances. Are you going through a difficult period and you need support? Contact the Public Sector Employee Assistance Program at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, or call 876-932-5310, or send an email at pseap@mof.gov.jm. The Public Sector Employee Assistance Program is a counseling service that offers short-term assistance to public sector workers. We thank you for tuning in to this episode of MoFPS Coffee and Conversations. We aim to share the experiences of public servants as they navigate a life of service. Real people, real stories. If you haven't checked us out yet or been following us on social media, be sure to do so. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and now LinkedIn. Search for MOF Jamaica or the Ministry of Finance Jamaica. Until next time, I am your host, Shaquille Rochester Shorter.